President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr. now in Beijing for a three-day state visit to strengthen Philippine-China relations. Apart from securing investments, the president hopes to extend the ties in education and culture, among others. This comes amid disagreements between Manila and Beijing, particularly on the West Philippine Sea dispute. And here at home, the Interior Secretary is calling for the courtesy resignation of top police officials, colonels to generals, as part of the administration's intensified internal cleansing of the Philippine National Police. The chief of the PNP and Metro Manila's police chief supports this move. Good evening, I'm Pia Hontiveros. Welcome to your weekly political appointment fix, Politics as Usual. Our first guest tonight, he is the Vice President of the Federation of Filipino-Chinese Chambers of Commerce and Industry, Mr. Cecilio Pedro. He's part of the business delegation that traveled to China, to Beijing, with President Marcos. Mr. Pedro is joining us via Zoom from his hotel there in Beijing, the capital of China. Mr. Pedro, magandang gabi po sa inyo. Thank you very much for joining us tonight.
Oh, it's a pleasure to join you, Pia. Good evening to you and to everyone who is listening to your program.
Well, sir, let's begin with this. Now, how are things going there? I understand you are in a bubble. You were placed in a bubble in spite of the fact that you've joined the president on that state visit.
First of all, it's so cold in Beijing. It's -7 and -8. Fortunately, we're inside the hotel, so everything is fine. And we just finished our dinner together with the Secretary of Trade, and we are happy to.
Mr. Pedro? All right, I think we lost that connection for a moment there via Zoom with Mr. Cecilio Pedro, who is the Vice President of the Federation of Filipino-Chinese Chambers of Commerce and Industry. Mr. Pedro, of course, is with the business delegation that accompanied President Marcos to his three-day state visit to China. We're awaiting word if he is able to reconnect, because we have questions for him. He was just explaining that because I had asked him, their situation there. They are in a bubble. He was just saying that it's very cold there, -6, -7 degrees in Beijing. But it's warm, like he said, in the hotel. He was about to tell us more about engagements of the president there in Beijing. And also, we wanted to ask him about a number of major business deals that are expected or were expected to be signed today and tomorrow, January 5, Thursday, between both countries and private firms. We are expecting news on business deals that have to do with agriculture, renewable energy, and nickel processing. And we're told, like the reports say, perhaps even exportation of durian, famous Davao fruit, to China. Of course, we're waiting for that connection again with Mr. Pedro. But now he's joining us via phone. Medyo bagsak po at hindi lang temperatura ang bumabagsak sa Beijing, pati ba naman yung signal. Mr. Pedro, sige po. You were just explaining how cold it was, and I was asking you also about that bubble. Of course, cases are rising there in China. So, kamusta naman po yung bubble dyan?
Yeah, we're perfectly okay. We're quite how do you say it? We're closed down. We're totally isolated from the rest of the world. But we are, so all our friends are coming over, including government officials. And tonight we had a dinner with Bank of China, stressing the importance of working together and financing from the Bank of China. So it's a good beginning. I see this as a step forward, because after hopefully this signed bilateral agreement signed by the President and Premier Xi Jinping this afternoon, we will hopefully see more investment coming in and more products going out of the Philippines to China.
Yeah. Tell us more about
this is a step in the right direction.
Tell us more, sir, about those
ahead.
investments coming in and exports going to China. Of course, trade should always be fair, no? Hindi lang pwedeng nag-i-import lang tayo sa China. Ano ba yung i-export natin sa China?
That's correct. Well, just a while ago, we were talking about adding durian from Davao to export to China. There's unlimited demand here in China, so it's good news. So for the first time, we can export durian in as a fruit. We don't have to process it. We can export as a fruit. And among other things, there are investment coming in terms of building infrastructure. They want to hopefully jumpstart the infrastructure commitment they have for our country, and we'll start very soon as we get back to the Philippines. And they want the businessman, the business delegation, to also take part in this very important venture, which is to bring investment in, and hopefully to also export our products to China.
Can you tell us?
Yun lang the details will come in siguro tomorrow because we have a round table meeting with business to business and B2B.
Okay. Well, I know you just said the details will be in by tomorrow, but you might have a little bit more on these infrastructure projects. What exactly? And China will be, Beijing will be financing these. These are loans or these are grants? And what specific infrastructure are we talking about, sir?
We are not privy to the documents signed between our president and their president at this point in time. But I know the report from the secretary is there are billions of dollars coming in infrastructure and also in investments. And the next step is to identify what are the infra that they will be hopefully investing in, and that they will hopefully be helping the Philippine government in moving forward. So those are things that will be discussed in the coming days, and even beyond this trip, they will come to the Philippines, and we will also hopefully send some business delegations back to China to negotiate. And kasi ngayon nakakulong kami, we are isolated in a bubble, and we have very short time talking to them. Dahil, they are also isolated.
Sir, can you tell us more about agreements that are going to be made or or signed when it comes to agriculture, for example? I mean, apart from the durian, exporting durian from the Philippines to Beijing and the rest of China, renewable energy, nickel processing. Meron po ba kayong detalye nito?
Wala pa eh. Tomorrow will be on the roundtable discussion. Kami, as far as the Federation of Philippine and Chinese Chamber of Commerce is concerned, we are focusing our attention on agriculture, yung mga technology that they can bring to the Philippines. Kasi they're quite advanced already in agri,
Yes.
And also maybe the fertilizers that they can help the Philippines at this point kasi ang hirap kumuha ng fertilizers.
Oh, tsaka mahal.
They have
Sobrang
enough
mahal.
and they can supply at saka mahal. Mahal.
So
those are areas that we like to identify.
Yes, very crucial po agriculture.
Yes,
when you say high tech, so
Right.
for example, we're talking about drones. There's a lot of agriculture practices that use drones already, and then fertilizer. So we're saying na we can get fertilizer from them at much lower rates. Sobrang mahal ngayon ng fertilizer. Mamamatay ka talaga sa presyo.
Tama po yun. Importante yung fertilizers. But also yung mga equipments. Some of the equipments they are quite advanced also in our agricultural equipments, which they can supply to us. And of course, the energy sector is also moving forward. And even the mining sector, we hopefully want to bring some end-of-the-line processing for nickel, for copper. Kasi we're exporting raw mat to China. If they can set up a factory here or processing equipment to process the nickel, and then we can export our nickel as a processed product, they may add on so we can generate more income for the Philippines. Those are areas we are hopefully looking into.
Yeah, but it will be a Chinese firm that's coming in to process our nickel, which will be exported. Ganun po ba yun?
That's part of it. Or it could be a joint venture kasi marami tayong mining companies exporting currently to China. So with this, and there are many mining companies owners who are present here with the delegation, and they are telling me that this is one area they want to look into seriously.
Binanggit rin po ninyo renewable energy. What specifically about renewable energy? We're going to have a Chinese firm come in and do something? What exactly, sir?
I think solar is one area where they are quite competitive. Kasi mga solar panels from China is really competitive and very inexpensive compared to other countries. The other area we like them to look into is hopefully para sa akin is atomic energy, that they can also look into nuclear plant. Okay. Atomic nuclear plant, or maybe even kind of wind technology using yung malalaking fan to generate power. So these are things that are the key here is not just the technology, it's also the financing.
Right,
Kasi
right.
mga local businessmen will be challenged when ang lalaki mga investment. You're talking of billions of pesos and even dollars.
Atomic or nuclear energy, sir. Beijing has very advanced nuclear power plants. That's not going to be controversial here in this country, because every time we bring up nuclear power, nako, ayan na.
Yeah, but it's the cheapest power, no? And at the same time, the technology for nuclear plant has advanced over the years. It's not very safe to build nuclear plants, especially the power generating plants, and even they can withstand very high intensity earthquake. So hindi na problema yung nuclear power plant. It's just that we are afraid marami tayong earthquake, baka magkaroon tayo ng problema when there is a big earthquake. So those are things that can be studied and can be taken care of by technology.
My final question, Mr. Pedro, is of course hovering over this state visit are all these questions about the way China regards Philippine territory, or what it claims is not Philippine territory. So when you talk to Chinese businessmen, Chinese government officials, do you set that aside? Para bang hindi yan kasama sa usapan, talagang sineset aside po yun, para ang pag-uusapan lang yung mga business agreements, mga trade agreements?
Tama po yun. As a business delegation, the emphasis is on business. Yung problema ng West Philippine Sea, let the government take care of the discussion. We're not involved in that, and we'd like to see more business moving forward. And sana itong mga negosyo will strengthen our relationship instead of discussing the other problems we face in the South China Sea. So yun ang focus namin, is really negosyo lang. What we can do to help each other. They also need our help because they are in big demand of products from agricultural products from all over the world. And also mga commodities like nickel, copper, they all need that. And we have a lot to supply them. So pag-usapan natin yung pwede nating gawin together as friendly nations.
Okay.
That's what we are putting emphasis on.
Oh, I wish I could ask you about that meeting between President Marcos and Chinese President Xi Jinping, but we're going to wait for official word from the palace about that. That was happening a few hours ago.
That's correct.
Pero maraming salamat po sa inyo. Thank you so much, Mrs. Cecilia Pedro of the Federation of Filipino-Chinese Chambers of Commerce and Industry, who joined us via Zoom and by telephone from his hotel in Beijing. Of course, Mr. Pedro is part of the business delegation that accompanied President Marcos on his state visit to China. We'll be back after a quick break. Stay tuned. Welcome back. This is Politics as Usual. Apart from President Marcos' state visit to China, another big story here in Manila, the leadership of the Philippine National Police heeding the call of Interior Secretary Ben-Hur Abalos for some high-ranking officials, colonels to generals, to file courtesy resignations. I spoke earlier with PNP Chief Rodolfo June Azurin Jr. Here's what he said.
Yes, ma'am. I will be submitting my courtesy resignation to President through Secretary Abalos bukas po, ma'am. This is to heed the call of our Secretary na lahat ng third-level officers should submit their courtesy resignation and be assessed and evaluated regarding yun pong possibility na involvement po ng lahat ng third-level officer sa mga ipinagbabawal na gamot po.
And I understand, General Azurin, that you are making an appeal to your fellow officers, to colonels, all the way up to lieutenant generals, to do as you did or as you will do tomorrow. Is that correct, sir? Have you made that appeal, and are you appealing to them now?
Yes, ma'am. Kasi nga po, yun pong challenge ng ating minamahal na Secretary Abalos. I take that as an opportunity for the whole PNP leadership po, specifically yung mga third-level officers from colonel to general, na this is the right time po to cleanse our rank and to prove the innocence of the very many third-level officers who are being accused or are being looked at as involved po sa illegal na droga, na it's either they are involved in the use, in the possession, in the sale, manufacture, and trade of illegal drugs po. So kaya nga ho, sabi ko po ay let's be confident. Kilala natin ang ating mga sarili. Let's submit ourselves for assessment so that matapos na po yung mga accusations ng iba't ibang sektor po ng ating komunidad na nakabalik, yung mga ninja cup, kung ano-ano pong mga ibinabato po sa PNP. So once and for all po, I encourage lahat po ng aming third-level officers to start submitting yung kanilang courtesy resignation so that maklear naman natin, maklear ng bawat colonel, bawat general ang kanyang sarili. Parang sa ganun ay hindi ho pinagdududahan ang aming mga hanay na associated kay ganito, tao ni ganito, involved sa ganito. So this is one way, ma'am, of showing na we are really serious in purging our rank, especially yung mga senior officers namin, against misfits and scalawags. Lalong-lalo po pagdating po sa pinagbabawal na gamot. Because to me, no PNP member po should be involved in the use, in the possession, in the manufacture, in the trade or sale of any illegal drugs, because this should be a no-no po, sir, ma'am, sa ating Philippine National Police. Kasi nga po, ang mandato po namin ay pulihin po ang lahat ng mga nagbebenta ng mga ipinagbabawal na gamot, and we cannot do it if even within our ranks ay may mga suspicions po sila na may mga involved po sa mga senior officers po.
General Azurin, this appeal you are making on Newsnight on CNN Philippines, you made also to several officers whom you have been speaking to the whole day. Can you give us an idea kung paano sila nag-respond po sa inyong appeal, mga personal appeal? What did they say? What did they tell you?
Lahat po, ma'am, nang nag-attend po kanina, of course, isa-isa po, ma'am, I ask ano ang kanilang opinion or ano ang kanilang suggestion or how do they take the challenge being posed by our dear Secretary Abalos. And of course, part ng mga napag-usapan doon is about yung personal po nila na view, and then how are they going to explain it sa kanilang pamilya na they are being called to resign, and then what would happen to the PNP organization. So and then siyempre yung career po nila, marami po tayo mga full colonel, they are almost there to becoming general. Unfortunately nga, ito po yung panawagan ng ating mahal na Secretary Abalos. Sabi ko naman po sa kanila is, I think this is a very good start na ipakita natin na the PNP is not what they seem to look at, na lahat tayo ay napagdududahan, na involved sa mga ipinagbabawal na gamot. So, sabi ko is let us think about our organization, because in a few months, in a few years, some of us will be leaving. Ano ba ang gusto nating mangyari sa ating PNP organization? Na hindi ba tayo mag-a-attempt na i-cleanse man lang ang organisasyon natin against this malicious, this baseless and unfounded accusation na kung saan pagka sinabi nila na ay may pulis na involved ay parang nilalahat po nila ang lahat ng kapulisan. And being at the senior level position, sabi ko nga, I simply define leadership as a big ship followed by the small ship. So kailangan kung ano yung direksyon na tinatahak o gustong tahakin ng ating liderato, dapat ay sumusunod sila. And isa yan ay wala akong leader na nagnanais na ang kanyang mga tauhan or even siya ay ma-involve po sa mga ipinagbabawal na gamot po.
So General Azurin, ang
Yes,
Azurin, ang sinasabi po ninyo, tabula rasa, a clean slate for the Philippine National Police. Can you tell us, sir, how this is going to happen? So you are making this appeal. Secretary Abalos made this appeal. Hihintayin po ninyo yung mga courtesy resignations ng lahat ng mga koronel, lahat ng mga general. When that happens, dadaan po sa isang committee, a 5-man committee like earlier explained. Tapos, paano po pag merong hindi mag-submit ng courtesy resignation? Ilang chance po ang ibibigay sa kanila para i-explain kung bakit hindi sila magka-courtesy resignation? And also, corollary to that, what happens? Courtesy resignation, ipagre-retire ba sila? Will they be given early retirement, which is what happened noong 1992, nung panahon ni former President Fidel V. Ramos, noong Secretary ng Interior and Local Government si Rafi Alunan? Is this the same thing that's going to happen?
Yes, ma'am. Unang-una, ma'am, is should the resignation of those who will be submitting yung kanilang courtesy resignation be accepted by the President after the careful evaluation by the 5-man committee that will be designated by the President, then it will automatically be considered as their retirement po yun. So they will be entitled to receive their entitlement benefits dahil sabi nga kanina, pinaghirapan nila lahat ng kung ano man ang narating po nila. Unfortunately, nangyari po ito sa aming organisasyon because of some people ho na they really crossed the line. So and it is affecting our organization right now. And then may process po yan na yung lahat po ng makikitaan po na medyo kailangan mag-explain po, they will be summoned to explain to the committee kung to determine po kung ano po ba yung talagang involvement nila. Hindi ho yung basta nag-submit ay tinanggap. Definitely po is everybody will get a chance to face the committee that will assess and evaluate them so that they can expound and explain yun pong mga report po sa kanila. So yun po ma'am ang part ng gagawin po ng committee. As to the members po ng mga committee, definitely I will not be part of the committee. The SILG will not be part of the committee. But we assure you na lahat po ng pipiliin na maging member ng committee, they have impeccable character. Yung integrity po nila ay napakataas. Ang hihilingin lamang po ng ating kapulisan is it should be fair and just para na sa ganun ay hindi naman masabi ng aming mga kapulisan na sila ay pinag-initan dahil sa politika. So dito ma'am is definitely wala akong politika na mangyayari dito. But completely it's an evaluation and assessment on the integrity of all our third-level officers.
So in other words, in my final question, General Azurin, you are giving all these officers a chance to go quietly by retiring, like you said, they'll still get their benefits, etc. And also, sir, please answer this with a yes or a no. Kilala po ninyo sila. You know who they are. Yun ang pinupuntirya po ninyo dito sa cleansing na gagawin ninyo. Right, sir?
Yes, ma'am. Kilala po natin sila, ma'am. Unfortunately, sabi ko nga, nangyari is during the past na mga recent past or yung mga nakaraan po, hindi ho kasi sila, ma'am, sinawata eh. siniwata. Di ba? Parang tinolerate po, kaya akala po nila ay tama po yung kanilang ginagawa.
Alright.
So, I think this is a very right time po to start cleansing our ranks honestly. So that, sabi ko nga ma'am, once na natapos itong exercise na to, kung sino yung mga maiiwan, dapat ay ingatan nila, dapat ay pahalagaan po nila ito because this is a very tall order coming from our SILG. So kailangan ay hindi na dapat maranasan pa po ng mga susunod na mga third level officers itong ganitong klaseng panawagan po ng ating SILG. At kung mapapansin niyo ma'am, noong 1992, after po nung pagtawag po ng ating mahal na Pangulong FBR, wala na hong nangyaring problema po as far as yung mga individual clothing allowances ng ating mga
Alright.
kapulisan or yung CCIE.
This is Politics as Usual. We'll be back after a quick break. Still on Politics as Usual, I'm Pia Hontiveros. Metro Manila Police Chief General Jonel Estomo says 67 officials under his jurisdiction favor the submission of their courtesy resignations as part of the police organization's internal cleansing.
The NCRPO fully supports endeavor of Secretary of the Interior and Local Government, Attorney Benjamin Benhor Abalos Jr., to eradicate illegal drugs in the country. As the Regional Director of NCRPO, I hereby led the team NCRPO generals and police colonels to render our courtesy resignation to His Excellency President Bongbong Marcos Jr., through the Chief Philippine National Police, Police General Rodolfo S. Asrin Jr., and NAPOLCOM Chairman, DILG Secretary, Attorney Benjamin Benhor Abalos Jr., for the best interests of the country.
We've been told before, don't talk politics at the dinner table or the family reunion or in Viber groups and risk warfare, digital or otherwise. But we can talk about it here at this table on this show, your weekly political appointment fix, Politics as Usual. I'm Pia Hontiveros. See you back here next Wednesday, 8 p.m.